On the line as well, not just a lone standing team representing Pacific, but also the Korean home crowd.
They're going to start on attack side, and they're bringing out this chamber composition once more. It was an adjustment the DRX made for champs. Foxy9 takes that first swing. It's a free one for him with the rendezvous setup. Doesn't find anything and backs off behind the one-way. But DRX, the spike is actually heading to try to find some kind of pick on B.
They go for a bit of a re-clear of this A setup, but it's a high-low as well. Foxy9, that is overzealous. A little bit eager as well. There's no follow-up and follow-through by the rest of DRX.
That's very bold. Good hold from Trace.
And the one-way as well, renewed up, but still the Viper wall should allow them access. Looking for a contact clear as soon as the curtain will drop. Paranoia, and the Prowler doesn't actually hit towards the back of it, so unexpected, but still the trade is clean. Well, King with a lot to do into that spot, but just can't overcome it. Hail of bullets that end up coming his way, and Kai want to get cheeky with it. Pushing past, trying to take that time in, but he's spotted. Just onto the brink there on the edge of the action. Bane make sure to clear out Hey Bay. Seoul survivor. It's a 1v3. It would require mistakes from DRX, I think, to allow him into this. Spots the head of Mako, jump spotting. Bane is weak. Gets himself in, but still Bane clean with it. 3-piece of the pistol.
A little bit sloppy from DRX in terms of how they were using their utility and how they wanted to break that rubble hold. But in terms of the shooting, they just had all of the advantages there. And I think that's where we're going to see this DRX squad really push that advantage, is by trying to take as many gunfights as they can. Trace are a smart team. But I think if we learned anything from that EDG game, EDG were forcing fights up in the tempo, trying to contact in and rely on the rifling, and they ripped Trace to pieces. If DRX watched that game, though, you can only take away big ideas like that because we haven't seen Trace play on Lotus or Abyss.
Okay.
Fang takes down Foxy9's head right at the start. Foxy9's having a rough opening to play in chamber here.
That's the thing with a chamber pick as well. It's quite obvious in terms of where you're going to be trying to play.
Definitely. I mean, majority of these early rounds, Foxy9 is going to be trying to post up on those kind of lines. It's also somewhat susceptible to buying Guardian, Odin, something like that, and spamming.
Yeah.
Almost always he's going to have that rendezvous tucked into that corner of lobby. You can move it around a little bit, but there's a decent chance that a defender can get some good damage onto you, forcing out that rendezvous and then popping shots.
Just one shot fire to break the haunt as well, so Bianche doesn't really have much to go off of.
And I fear he's not going to be able to hold this one down on his own. So many players on the other side, and yet overthinking it perhaps here a little bit, Marco.
I'm a bit worried about this one because still Trace is sticking this. 3 players stacking over towards A as well. And with time running short, that's a necessary element, really, that you're going to be needing to win the round if you are DRX in this spot. They might start to increase the tempo round about now.
Paranoia,
as we mentioned, still pivot options aren't quite there. Beautiful with the flash still. Time just in there for them, 10
seconds left.
Whip the outlaw around and catching it onto the back of Hey Bay. So the danger is navigated.
And I think Trace gave them that one a little easily there. I'm not sure what that decision-making was from Law King and Kai. They had Paranoia. They went for... They assumed that the whole hit was coming through tree, and they're asking Fang and Bianche to do an outrageous amount here if they wanted this round to go in their direction. It's damage, the name of the game at this point, I think.
Yeah.
Tried to take guns out of the hand of DRX. But you do not want to be giving orbs to Buzz.
He's steadily trying to build up to that showstopper. Going to be missing the target here, Mako. Oh, he's going down with a ship. Oh, no. And even dropping flashback. So the guns, that's some significant economic damage that Trace have been able to at least do to DRX here. See how many guns they will be able to keep.
Michael watched the lifeboat just escape the Titanic without him on it.
I know, it's tragic. Oh.
The paranoia is nice from Mako there, obviously catching Law King and onto Kai, but they didn't fall back into defensive positions using that back sight and the cover available to them.
Yeah.
I really feel like Trace thought that was coming full through tree. A bad read, unfortunately, for them. And DRX, I've got a bit of an odd buy coming into the bonus. It definitely feels like a bonus round, not a full rifle round. Can Foxy do anything at the start here?
It's going to be all-out war occurring out towards the rubble as well. That paranoia is beautiful. Buzz caught up, but still he's safely tucked inside the smoke. Just tries to take that angle and fight, but again, nothing to really add on. Extra spice in terms of that util, and players are accounted for right now. Bane still looking snappy alongside Flashback. Maybe enough to make something of this round still, but leaving it just down to the one, and he will be quickly approached. And the double-up discipline of Trace is enough to seal up that round. Puts at least the one on the board for now.
BNK, what a round. Stacks over towards the site, correctly reads things as the IGL. He's already been eliminated from Champions once by EDG and DRX. Not today, he says, with a 4K in this Rubble fight. DRX have been putting a heavy emphasis over towards Rubble in these first few rounds. It's only been 3, but a lot of the early round pressure has been in that direction. Trace, I think that was a 4-player stack from the defenders. This time, going to be fighting it with 3. And Hebe coming over to help.
Yep.
Same stuff again.
Yeah.
Very, very early paranoia usage from Law King. I'm not a big fan of that, especially if DRX start committing less and less to Rubble. You're going to want to see Law King hold it. Such a big tool to play retakes, for example, reclears later in the round.
Just putting a premium on pushing Foxy9 away at least.
Which is interesting because he's still got a goose egg out here.
Exactly, 0-3. Was giving Fnatic a bit of trouble though when Haven was played. DRX
He absolutely
pulling
was.
out this composition. The operator was doing work.
I'm afraid I've got to remind you that this map is called Lotus, though.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah. 3 sites, close enough.
Yeah, that's reasonable, to be honest.
Yeah, listen, the brain fog comes for us all.
Still those 3 players from Trace holding in this direction. And if Foxy9 wants to make something happen here, got to get past the Prowler.
God. And he's absorbing a lot of util into the process as well. Does have the rendezvous. Just get out of dodge, tries to adjust with the shot.
All of this is not really doing much in the round. The time's ticked down, and now Mako's got a decision. Where do you go? How do you get in?
You're going over towards C. You haven't cleared any of this prior util down. Hebe wants to just land those shots, and he will do that. Nano swarms as well, making sure that nobody can follow up onto this flashback. He's going to try and barrel through and find an opening in through the B site. With 2 players dropped in through the connector. BNK now last alive on that spot. Alerts them. Nightfall scatters out onto the site now, trying to put the pressure and apply it straight to them. Kai. He's left into that 1v2, hops up and over, but the watchful eye of Mako will drop him down.
Oh, it's not elegant, it's not beautiful, but it gets the job done for DRX. Flashback opens things up just by bulldozing his way through this B main angle, through a Viper wall as well. Wide swinging to take down Law King. And I think that that is going to be, like I said earlier, a really big key. It's just forcing gunfights. DRX have gone really heavy into rookies with solid rifling.
Yeah.
Really solid rifling. I think they outskill this Trace roster if they force fights against them. At the moment, DRX are playing some slow rounds and not really getting anywhere with it until they go for the fights.
That's concerning, I think, that waiting outside C, not clearing any of the mollies, pulling out some of that util. Kai, he's getting cheeky. Of course, risks need to be taken. Maybe not for Foxy9, though. He will be able to get out of dodge there. Taking a lot of damage in the process. In through the C site now we go. DRX get the confirmation. So player lurking out through Waterfall.
Does Feng commit to this? It would be extraordinarily ambitious to go for it in a 4v5 when you only have classics. So presumably, if Trace were able to get a pick here or there, maybe that would justify expending the ultimate.
Yeah, might hit the go button.
DRX don't actually have very much space on site here. They don't control Waterfall. They don't control Spawn. And yet, Trace are not really forcing the action. They're just playing for exits by the look of things.
Yeah, slow and steady. They are one of the most, you know, quote-unquote standard teams that we have out of the China region in terms of how they play. All about trying to be efficient with the rounds, and they don't make too many risky plays, even though timing would have been right for it potentially into this one. Still, as you said, going to be going down to the spike here, denying a lot more. But this is DRX now with 4 rounds on the board, to getting up to this next buy round and starting to feel a little bit of a worry for Trace, I think.
Absolutely, especially just their decision-making in that moment. Which ultimates are you afraid of charging up there on DRX? They already have the showstopper, they already have Pit. What are you worried that Mako's going to get up to his Omen ult?
Yeah.
Like, why not go for that and try to do some economic damage at least? Keep DRX honorable. Okay, never mind, let's move on. Round 6 in the lower bracket here at Champs.
Same setup by Trace.
Very, very similar. We're still getting that paranoia off the beginning from Law King. Yep.
Yeah, paranoia, Horn 2, a lot of that missing as well. The Horn catching Foxy9! How the hell did that happen? Couldn't quite get out of there. I'm not sure if the nade rebounded and broke his TP. Might have been hard committed. No, it looks like it's still up on the minimap, so I'm not sure what happened there from Foxy9.
Yeah, mate, neither am I. I mean, okay. He was overwhelmed with utility coming at him. He's trying to find a timing past the paranoia, and then he has to deal with the Horn and the Boombot. He just... He didn't have the mental bandwidth, I think.
Nade though, it's going to be bouncing off the back wall, clears. And Partition's out this side, still Kite. He's going to be holding strong. Needs to be that stalwart defender, but he's going to be dropped from the rocket, but still goes at least pound for pound there. Nade again to back them away. Still these kills in the favor of Trace. 3v2 for their retake, but a pit placed down, propped up. Very difficult to deal with if you are Trace now. It's going to take a couple of raw duels, maybe a bit of spam, getting lucky. They're going to be hoping for it, hunting for it. Rifles in hand. In terms of util to work with, it's not too much here. Adjustment, smokes, drop the Bane! My God! Just wrangles that rifle and brings it closer and closer to victory over the precipice. And a 5th round for him, with how important that is as well. Economy most likely broken for Trace. Listen, I'm no mathematician. They might be able to scramble together a buy off the back of it because of the loser's bonus, but this is getting really, really tricky.
Certainly is. And another big round from Bane. He's had a couple of them so far. He's 8-1 in the server right now. Good to see a rookie player that hasn't had the best performances just yet at Champs find his place, find his footing. Trace are going to be broken. The economy's not looking good for them. He's dead right, and they're looking to push.
Taking that contact as well. Oh my God, weaving in and out of the bullets. Barely escaping death there from that main fight as well. Trying to put the squeeze onto DRX.
Nice
Chasing
reaction.
them from behind, yeah, and it is a good reaction.
I like this. They got out just in time to avoid those players pushing them from C. Now they should have a good idea that it's an MTA site. They should be accelerating. They're a little slow with it, to be honest, but Foxy9's watching the flank.
He is watching it, but he's really going to be locked down onto this spot still, nailing his shots. There's a bit of danger that he potentially might lose his operator. Needs a bit of help from the rest of his team, but plans down, and apparently easy pickings for him. He's on for the ace.
That's definitely going to make the stats look better. Grab the 4K on the anti-eco round as everybody's pushing you one by one. Not bad. He does his job there, Foxy9. Stops any level of danger. Trace, try a little pocket pick. But I think what we've seen so far from them in these first 7 rounds is that they do look a lot less comfortable, a lot less good, strong ideas compared to the maps that they've been winning on so far at Champs, which is Ascent and Bind. We've only seen them win on Ascent and Bind. We've only seen them play on Ascent, Bind, Sunset. It's a bizarre situation in which they got the same map pool against Vitality and Leviathan.
That's why we were kind of thinking about, okay, I'll hold that thought for now as well, as Foxy9 does once more pay the price of peeking that angle up through that is. Ooh, I mean, okay, hey, Bay, listen, team's already up 1, but he decided to take the fight anyway, so he's brought it to that 4-on-4. Nade held, sees alongside it. Good additions to try and clear their space into it, but a corner not accounted for, and Bianchi happy to oblige. Feng Feng right over the shoulder. Buzz dropped in the process now. ADS but lining him up. Flashback might just be their savior. Weaving in and out of the angles. That's ridiculous. Even getting a bit of a run on as well because he knows he's done the business and done the damage. Feng Feng needs to isolate this fight in through the corner, but Mako drops him.
The rookie players are just taking turns, cycling through, seeing who can step up for DRX and pull off a big round win. Trace are going to take a timeout here. It's already been called. It is ridiculous, I think, that they got themselves up into a 5v4 and then committed to try to stop that. I don't believe that we saw the snake bite come out. I could be wrong about that, of course. But it looked to me like Hebe had swung without really having too much of an advantage in terms of how he's going to stop that from snowballing on top of him.
Yeah.
It's a scrappy game right now.
Trace were doing on their setups, and it has knocked their confidence. Even still, it shows with them second banning the map in this map pool, in this big ban system that we've got here with these games played.
Let's have a look at the A-Rubble fight again, though. Does Foxy9 get in front of the Paranoia?
Oh, yes, he does.
Yes. Do they try to punish him again? Yes. Same scenario. It's like they're just rolling the dice to see what happens there. Both teams believing in their own individualism, not changing anything.
It's a fake TP forward as well. The Satchel might do enough to remove, just the one Nano Swarm.
That's not bad, though. I mean, they've removed the alarm bot as well, so they've got rid of some decent util over here. Trace got good information on the A site. Do they choose to go for a lockdown?
Oh, TP in through the back. That's Mako as well. He's trying to clear the most of the way. He's been naded by his team. All good, though. Paranoia sweeps through. Buzz follows up off the back of it, and his team are at least trying to collect up these kills onto the site, and they will do just that.
Lockdown goes through, but they've already lost 2.
Yeah, so the lockdown is going to be used to try and play this one, but the nade is perfect. It just rebounds, and yeah, you can feel it, man. It's untested, it's untempered here by Trace, taking him onto this map, and you're going to need raw individualistic aim to carry them through this round for even a chance of a win. Listen, the Guardian's in our hand with a decent amount of chip damage. Pushing back Foxy9 in through the corner. Bane, though, still locked onto site. Slightest of off angles, anticipating the white swing, and he'd be right on the money with that. Earns himself a kill as a result of it. And rapidly, the options are running out here for Trace once more. Gotta hightail it, gotta save the guns. Stem the bleeding in whatever way you can, but at this point, the map is running away from you.
There's not even a trade as they come through that smoke there, Trace. It looks like they're pretty far behind the Lotus meta compared to teams like DRX. And we've already seen DRX pick up big wins on this map. They managed to take down Fnatic on Lotus, which is a huge accomplishment. I think mostly because Fnatic got caught off by the composition and how well DRX played around it. Foxy9 was having a blinder of a day on Chamber that time. But Buzz was also a monster. Had over 1 KPR in that entire match. And this is the kind of game where you can really flex your muscles a little bit and try to take things to Trace.
Yeah.
Right, here we go. Does Foxy9 swing in front of the Paranoia again?
They're holding a Season 8 this time, but again, it's probably not going to be stopping him. Yeah, as soon as the util goes flying, he's back out of there. It's pulling out so much of the util from Trace. Leaving them with nothing but scraps, really, for a lot of these retakes.
He's fine doing it at this point. There wasn't a Paranoia used from Law King, so Trace were trying to adjust something there, and it looks like Foxy9's not really trying to contest the angle anymore. He's doing the same thing because he realizes it gets his team a util advantage, but he's not actually staying long enough to get punished. So we are now seeing both sides adapt to this fight over towards Rubble in subtle ways. Foxy9 gets that rendezvous back online again. But there's a one-way in his face. Should get broken by his team as the Viper Wall goes up.
Bianchi sending out the util. Spades of it now, and needs to assist with most of this. Buzz is hot on the heels of all these players. Goodness me, he's just chopping them down. There is no defense over towards the A-Rubble. The protocols in place from DRX are just immaculate.
He had an outstanding kill on Fongfong in the previous round, and that's another world-class shot. This time, though, Fongfong with the revenge.
He's got to try and answer back, hasn't he? Showstopper. It's going to be used. That's incredibly preemptive. To no avail.
On whom?
And now walking back up, creeping to try and take up that space once more. In through B, there might be an appropriate response again from Trace. They have 2 players up through heaven. It's Kai, shoulder to shoulder. Shots need to be landed here. Spraying them down, the spacing just not good enough. And time now on the other foot. DRX pushed into a hole there, really, with nowhere else to go.
Trace finally managed to be able to pick up a round there. A big one from Heybei. This guy's been so incredibly important for them in their run at this event. We've seen him wear his heart on his sleeve too. And it would be crushing for either of these teams to go out. It feels too early to be sending teams home from our playoff stage already.
Yeah.
But that advantage, that extra lifeline of the upper bracket quickly dwindled away for squads like Trace and DRX.
And now just the hardest possible path if you want to survive in the tournament.
Fongfong's been spotted. I don't think he even realized it there. It was that box jump peak. And Fongfong wasn't ready for it. They also, though, DRX did not manage to punish him. They were going for that wallbang spam to try to aim punch him, knock him off the angle. Instead, the fight comes towards Bianchi.
Well, Mako's already crept up onto this. The lack of presence over towards A-Rebel as well. Pretty big indicator now to Nightfall as well. Buzz through. Again, Showstopper in his hands. Be able to pave the way, lead the charge for the rest of his team. But honestly, the damage is already done. Kills are already through against the back wall. Hey, Bay. Might need a change of trousers after that one, I think. Barely surviving. Three v 5 though to play this retake, and with an operator in the hands of Fung Fung. He's only watching for the flank.
Sees nade. Kai dodges.
Corner, yeah, Kai's able to survive. Still time is running out here. Spike's going to start to at least tick away from them. And the kill's also getting away with them at that. There's a trade, at least online, but you won't be able to save this operator. Fung Fung. Shots off, but yeah, quickly approach in terms of his position. DRX just trying to essentially get this up to a 10-2 finish at the first half. Looking unstoppable.
It's absolute domination. It really is. Trace don't have the layers to their game on this map, despite picking it, which, you know, that's a surprise in itself today, I think. But they don't have the layers. For example, here, there's no real idea of what they can do to stop the Showstopper from Buzz, taking all of that space away. And you see it in the body language there from Bianca, the IGL, who's been to champs before, won games at this tournament before. Feels like he's out of his depth here.
Similar play to what we've seen prior. This time the Haunt is able to just light up Fung Fung. And Buzz for the easiest diff in his life there. It's all supplemented by that util. Taking point, Prowler spots it in through the door. King, lucky to be alive. Bianca traded out, just trying to hold it down through the side and wasn't expecting players to creep up behind him when the door swapping by. That is just absurd. Flashback just flexing on him at this point. And Kai, it's not going to be long for this world. Tagged up through the wall, stray bullets. It's enough to do the job there. That's a 10-2 half for DRX. Domination doesn't even begin to describe it.
This is the experience difference. This is Trace having not played Lotus against top teams in the world and been able to refine their meta over the course of scrims. This is DRX winning the map, barring a miracle. To punish their map pool, DRX today banning Ascent to force Trace to take us here to Lotus. And DRX have woken up and realized that they're going to win. They didn't let the DRX loss to Sentinels affect them, and they've come out here with some fire.
Yeah, the pressure's just sliding off of them, I think, at this point, despite the fact that they are the last holders of the kind of respect here for Pacific, the chance for them to lift a trophy, for the Korean crowd too. That would affect them.
Yeah, there could have been a huge amount of weight on their shoulders coming into today, but they're playing quite freely.
Foxy9. 2 bullets expended, just from the Headhunter.
I actually think the DRX have got better over the course of this map too. It was looking scrappy at the beginning, but some of the stuff we were watching from like round 8 onwards was pretty clean, pretty nice. And as they kind of relax into things, we'll see whether they can convert the pistol too. 50 seconds left, and this could go A or B. I mean, it looks like an A fake that they're going to try to pivot through the blue door, which is open, and Bane's watchful eyes are here.
And Ben's going to have a lot to do into this spot. Anchoring player into it, Prowler in through his face, but it matters not. Foxy9, he's there to push through the smoke, is watched by King. He's to follow the tracers. Meanwhile, the rest of his team happily cleaning up. And now it's curtains. An 11th round for DRX, a second pistol round.
And if there was hope for Trace, I think it's just gone down the drain. King did manage to double his kills, but he's gone from 1 to 2. That's a big fall for a player that people were excited to see popping off in the group stage against 2 great teams. But DRX today perhaps taking their opponents more seriously, maybe.
I think they've definitely done their research in terms of the best way that they can find the win here.
Yeah.
Banning Ascent, essentially telling Trace, pick your poison. Do you want to play Bind again, where you've just been anti-stratted? Mako will send out that Paranoia. Sees nade is, oh, it's perfect. But a TP to evacuate, so survival there for King. posturing them over towards A Rubble.
I mean, Kai's attempting to get this play through, but there's a trip right to the left of him. So Kai's got angles to heaven. Obviously, DRX know that, though, and there's nobody posted there. So this is going to be another opportunity for Foxy9 to mop up some ecos. See if he's good for it.
And he's got the backup, at least the back out, the rendezvous, but at least behind him. He saw a lot of heads.
But they're not trying to contest.
No.
The time is simply ticking.
He's missed the timing though, maybe falling asleep ever so slightly. The bullets not quite landing onto the heads there, so player surviving. Kai heard the footsteps, baited out into the open. That was Buzz. He had his aim trained onto that spot. Expected outcome for him.
And a good
35 seconds.
Good time into the snakebite too to stop any kind of reactive push from Trace.
And it's not synced up too well, is it, from Trace? Throwing everything at the wall, seeing what can stick. Fung Fung's got to go down with a ship here. Can't survive into the next with his Marshall in his hands. And he won't, but that's up to 12 now for DRX. Right now, they're on the cusp. The confidence has been there right from the beginning, to be honest.
And have we had a more dominant map here at Champion Seoul? Not that I can remember, but my memory's not photographic.
Yeah, listen, we're getting old.
But this is not just dominant in terms of the scoreline, but quick. And the rounds haven't been very close either.
Right, it feels like we just got here.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the fastest map that we've had so far. Trace is going to give it one more go.
Exactly. One more go. See if they can survive a bit longer in through this map. Opting into this fight over towards A Rubble once more. It's delayed in terms of the util here, and you're going to start to see it once more. It's a season nade. Caught onto the corner. Wow King is happy to stand his ground. Rest of his team alongside him. Taking his fires onto the open. Bane was spotted there, but as the door was just the slightest of angles, enough for Mako to capitalize.
Tracer not really using that pick. And the snakebite they just threw to go forwards on A, though. They're going to allow Buzz and Mako to set up another quasi-crossfire setup here. And Foxy9's dangerous too. He's front B with a judge. And
yeah,
Kai
this spot is brutal, man.
appears to be wandering into a spider's web.
He's clearing it well. It's the appropriate way to clear that spot. And Mako also just goes for a little bit of a peek as well, seeing if he can offset that advantage that's now earned and gained over for Trace. Following through here, Buzz spotting these players out, but just can't quite land it. Not there with the reaction times. So off the back of this, Trace will be surviving a little bit longer here in through this map. Any damage that Flashback does will be good for the team. Taking guns out of the hands of Trace, just making it that much more awkward.
Important for Trace to be able to win one of these rounds where they're advantaged in the economy, just to feel like they can, to feel like they're not outclassed. There is a mental difference when you're in groups versus when you're in playoffs. There's also a mental difference when you're on a map that you've won on before and you know that you can beat global teams at, versus this, which is newer territory for them. Getting anything here is just going to give them a slight flare-up of that flickering flame of hope.
The trouble is, not much room to breathe, and every single round has danger lurking around the corner. Doesn't matter if DRX are on the low buy. Seen enough thrifty wins to know that that's the case. Sees nade up and over. Paranoia as a response. Buzz is right round the corner. Shotty in hand. Upgrade obtained. And beaming him down. My God, Buzz! Didn't have to do it to him like that. It's dirty. It's disgusting to finish. And the angle, watch for. Fung Fung dropped to his knees. 13-3 is the finish. Map 1.
Performances 0 and 2 in China, and DRX here being their home territory. Yinsu asks the question, you know, imagine a comeback happening. I mean, John Lennon had struggled to imagine a comeback like that happening, I think.
Yeah.
Your imagination's pushed to its limits, but I have to say.
I really do think so. It's a high-low setup as well to try and cut up the addition of the attack side here. Flashback gets caught straight up into the camera. Buzz! He responds. It's two players chopped up, maybe going for the second one. That is just decisiveness and composure on display. In the blink of an eye, the round upended. Lao King pull back at the start, tries to fake like he could be backing away, but it's still double player hold. Buzz jiggling, gets the info that he was looking for. Open side over towards A. If King really does get a move on, but that might be hurt by Foxy9. Footsteps, potential. He's actually taking a long way around.
It's such a big map. I don't think he will have heard the footsteps there.
All because King decided to take a bit of a marathon sprint, and he's got time to do this.
Yeah, and he can play a post plant, but he's going to have to try to fight aggro for a kill first. Yeah. You're not going to be able to win a passive post plant here, even as Astra with a pull, by just, you know, plant. What on earth is he up to here? He's trying to fake it out, seeing if there's still a defender over on the A site. He doesn't quite understand. He's still going to have that recalled smoke, though, as a pull. But like I say, I think he's got to try to fight for one pick here at least. A 1v2 you can just about manage.
He might be offered one. Him versus Foxy9. No way. They spotted each other, though. King, that's cheeky.
Winnable.
Baited almost. It is winnable, especially with a star online as well for the first tap. One way in his face, though. Difficult to get through. Paranoia is perfect. Buzz sticking a bit of body block in action. Oh. No way. They get half. Vulnerable up, though, but Buzz is now sticking this. And King forced to do a lot more where that came from. It's a 4-piece in the end, but still a pistol round. Earned up by Buzz, just full sticking it away in some cheeky plays as well. The mechanics on display. That's hard to do. You can try it in a custom game.
I mean, that is brilliant. We've seen so many teams at Champs try to do the same thing.
Yeah.
It only takes the slightest misalignment to throw that off, and you just both go sliding past each other. King did the best that he possibly could. He even found that pick that he was looking for to bring things down into a 1v2. He's going to be gutted there. In his head, he probably thinks he got the timing wrong. It's only when he watches the VOD back later he'll realize that DRX outplayed him.
And DRX, you know, despite the comp being quite, I think, you know, boring, I think, by the standard, by a lot of teams in terms of what they're playing. You see G2 and Fnatic are throwing in. It's quite a standard comp that has a lot of ideas. It basically follows the exact same blueprint as maps like Ascent. You refresh into one way to try and control extremity control. You try and put an op in the hands of your jet players. You're seeing here, Buzz, this time with the Outlaw. And it's too many angles, really, for the attackers to clear. Still, they're going to use the drone to do just that, but Buzz can disrespect it. He has that liberty, and yeah, 2 shots available. That's precisely what they use for.
He's been so good in this position, trying to anchor.
He's been a monster. And he's looking to keep that form going. Bit of a slip-off when it comes to his matchup against Sentinels, but okay, finally denied that spot out through the back of the site. Sheriff shots need to be clean. King just can't quite hit them. And Feng, oh no, dropped down to 1 HP, no chance. In that spot there, 3 surviving for DRX into the next.
I wonder if the Outlaw gets picked up here, put back into the hands of Buzz. Looks like it has been.
Yeah.
That's the style that DRX love to go with. They always have somebody hard anchoring on the B site, and then the rest can flood in based off that distraction. While the rest of Trace are trying to deal with Buzz in this position, they can't really be putting their crosshairs over towards Heaven and over towards B-Link. Just allows people like Bane to flood back through.
Yeah.
And Buzz is amazing as a distraction. He's often good for 1 or 2 in that back of B site. I thought the Outlaw was going to go back into his hands, but you can see Bane picks that one up, looks towards mid as Buzz gets the knives online. DRX have often gone for flash or dash stuff with the Blade Storm, but this time, sitting back.
Yeah, trip for the mid presence. Knife delay by Foxy9. He's looking for signs of util to be used, but contact plays. But now he takes the timing anyway. Gets the acknowledgement. Just from the 1. Might not be a lot.
A spot that Benji loves playing there. Getting that break, getting that cage, sorry. Threatening. I'm not sure the cage was actually good. I believe Buzz got that sightline through, but they're going to look for an easy plant here.
Yeah, Cosmic Divide, but there's only 1 spot to play into. That's just onto the bridge, and there is util that could potentially be used to try and push this one back. Shock darts are already flying through Kaido. He's ahead of most of this one, underhanded. Foxy9, a flash to play off of, but they're going to be biding their time, waiting it up, and they have full side control. It's going to be trying to play it from B main. Rifles in hand. Feng at least dismissing Buzz out of the fight in the action now. But util back and renewed. Once more, they've got a pull for this one. They're going to be trying to body block this again. Yeah, looks like it. Why not? Second go of things. Mako. No way, man! They just stick it! It's stolen away! Players survive. You keep rifles into the necks if you are Trace, but that is just brutal.
We haven't seen another team be able to pull that off with the level of consistency required for the Astra to look useless on this map.
Who the hell was it? Someone was about to give it a go, and he said, no, actually, Mako, you do it. Yeah. It was Foxy9. He was like, no, I don't trust myself. Mako, you do it. You're so good at it. And just a full stick for flashback. The nade delayed. They think that the timing is perfect there.
And it was. The timing on everything is still really, really solid from Trace on pistol and on round 3. No problems with the way that Lorking is playing these spots. It's just that the pull is being countered.
Yeah, and it's such an odd scenario for them surviving. Money is flourishing right now for Trace with the loser's bonus. Getting ahead of the knife. Buzz does not spot any targets. Stars at his feet. It's going to be difficult and tricky to survive in this spot. It's being pulled this way, that way. Needs some help and backup from the rest of his squad. Body's opened up. What an adjustment! That is snappy. It's magnetic. And he has bought that time. Critical element for his team to get back into play.
Trace has got no chances here. Do not come to B. B is for Buzz and he's waiting for you. It's disgusting what he's able to do with an op and outlaw at the back of this site. I don't think, unless they're going to put the Cosmic Divide up and use it again as like a tool of being able to get into B and cross these sight lines, they've got no hope. When Buzz is hitting flicks like that,
it's nasty.
What are you supposed to do about it? Even if you try to flash him off the angle, he's just going to take cover and re-peek.
Yeah.
He's so confident in himself right now. And the Trace players they just simply haven't been hitting to DRX of practice, and they're just better at it than other teams. Good luck to Lorking.
Especially if that's part of the strategy with you opting into the Astra being played. Strong post-plan util. He's getting outplayed, and now is that upgrade with the operator. Buzz he's had it in the prior, jump spot. Barely seeing the shoulder. He's out of dodge, away from this cam.
Has the cam spotted him?
I don't think so. Drone's not broken. Kai has to go for a second peek of things as well, and Buzz is out in the open. Yeah, it's just, you're seeing holds, I think, in terms of the protocols of Trace.
It is a new comp, and it's a very different comp to the one that they ran the last couple of times. They're relying on Kai to try to open things up for them here, but he's blocked off by a one-way on the A site. A has been slightly weaker in terms of the defense for DRX. But Mako's home. Kai would have to land a good one to take him out early.
There are so many positions that Kai potentially has to account for. There's one though, plucks Mako out of the picture. No longer a defender at this A side. The rest of his team can follow up off the back of it.
Yeah, that's pretty bad from Mako actually. There was a while there that the one-way was down and he didn't realize, hadn't refreshed it.
Stray bullets up from heaven. I'm playing for this one. Kai is getting aggressive. 2 bullets left in the chamber to do some damage. Cam to clear, just the intersection of hell there. And yep, Buzz is unaware that the backside was completely lost. Still, it's traded out. The knives to no avail there for Kai. Dart's going to start a rebound here. They are pulling some of this util out of Trace. Reveal onto Hebe. Position is there, sprayed down by the bullets. A string of things going wrong now for Trace with only 2 players left, but time is still on their side. Bullets need to be landed. Transfer Lorking, slowing it down. No way!
No!
No way! Not again, man! Oh, goodness me.
Which fickle deity has Lorking betrayed recently? Why must all of these situations be pried cruelly away from him? In the most devastating fashions.
Yeah.
His spam is so close, but he's only got like
this
2
transfer,
bullets left in.
It's beautiful to collect the 2. And he just can't quite land it. The bullet's just running out. He can't get the weapon in time off the floor.
5 rounds in a row from DRX. And there is something that feels a little cruel about this.
Yeah, some sort of, I don't know, home territory buff or something. I'm not too sure. Luck is definitely on their side, though.
The home territory has not been a buff historically.
Oh, really? Buzz just clips the side of Hebe. Up and over the dash. The res is online because the ult was popped off. Buzz is feeling it right now. He actually is fully suppressed, so he can't use too much in the form of util to save himself here in through the back. Bane, he has to try and provide that supportive fire, but at least backs himself out. Foxy9's been played himself back in. Up and over the top as Heaven was not smoke, or at least it faded. Now the paranoia glides its way in. Blind as anything, all Q's cut away, but just the tip and top of the head at Foxy9. It's taken clean off. 2v2, you can slow this down if you Trace. You have options. Bianche going for the plan here. That's a double face. Good discipline. on display here by DRX. Bianche's got to try and make that play. Dart clears in through the back of the sight, run and gun from Mako. He knows the weapon well, and he knows the play to make.
And this is why DRX's strategy on B works so perfectly, because even when Buzz, Flashback get overwhelmed in that position, the distraction plays in all of their teammates.
Wait. Okay, I've just seen something ludicrous. The operator fell off the map, and somebody just jumped off the map and picked it off as the round went into the next to save the op.
Ain't no way.
I'm not kidding. I don't know if anybody can pick that up on the replay while we've got replays going, but on somebody's POV, I think it might have been Bane, he just grabbed the op as the round went into the next, off the edge of the map. And you gotta
no way.
Listen, Tracer just taking a timeout, so please, if you can grab that, that is insane. Is that?
That is so sick, man.
Oh
what a
my
catch.
God.
What a catch. Wow, has it just landed on a little ledge down there?
I don't know. No questioning it.
Honestly, DRX are... The ways in which they've been winning these rounds, it hasn't been luck, it has been skillfully done, but from Trace's POV, when they watch this back, they'll be amazed.
And Buzz is getting ahead of this one. He's got a dash. Active, and with the Hunter's Fury as well. There is no safety. Can't stand your ground against that. Bianche drop to the spectator seat. Feng Feng, oh no, just about missing that timing as well, but he's trying to play Kai in. Sneaking up and creeping up through mid. There is these timings to be taken, and this is potentially frantic, but they are winning at least some of these fights. They are going their way. Dart backed off and away. Can potentially be happy the fact that they did manage to get that kill onto Mako.
Yeah, I think that this is a better situation than Trace have been in. They're now applying a lot of pressure to mid, even though there's nobody there, because DRX have got no re-clear utility. Bane doesn't have a recon, doesn't have a drone. They've just got to give up mid and hope there's no lurker. It should make the sights a little weaker. But DRX now anticipating an A hit, because B has never worked. Buzz is over here now.
And he's just so fluid with this operator in his hands. I mean, he was here at the beginning of the round, but there's a lot of angles to account for. He smoked off, away from it. Rifle fire from Foxy9, instantly traded off, but he's still taking that peek. And guess what? The flash, or at least the dash, is right back at him. And the Dart to play him back in, lining up these players. In and through. Buzz is having the easiest game of his life because he's being supported so elegantly, man. He can do no wrong.
I love the recon dart as well that Bane throws out. A lot of the top Sova players are throwing that one. Learn it for your games as well. Everyone's going to take this as a learning moment, I suppose. Trace as well, because what else can you do from it? But you fire the recon the opposite side of the choke point so that as the attackers are facing towards heaven or facing towards sight, they'd have to do a 180 flick to break it. It's a nice idea. It plays Buzz in again. I mean, look, they are dominating.
Yeah.
Any area that Buzz is at is untouchable. They really can do no wrong. I think that's a great way of putting it. And from Trace's point of view, when you flip that on its head, it's like no matter what situation they get themselves in, DRX are always, they've always run into the operator. They've always got the perfect player flooding in off the back. And here they're trying to go into Buzz again. They do have the drone to try to push him off the angle.
Okay. Not that it stopped Buzz before.
No. And here in this round, pay attention to the way that the other players come in onto B.
He's been
based
missed.
off Buzz distraction.
He's been missed. Shots fired, and Buzz is right ahead of most of this.
This time they hold for Foxy9's flood.
Yes. So dropping one of the players there, Mako just cannot control the rifle. Looking sick of this. He's taking matters into his own hands and has cleared out, rooted out the stalwart defenders, watching it slightest of off angles and wandering from Bane will be punished.
What a nice adjustment from Trace, realizing that if you focus on Buzz, you get killed by either him or everybody else. So instead, they just push Buzz back a little bit and try to kill the others coming out through Heaven, through B-Link. A really solid adjustment, I think, to try to deal with that. Unknown if that came from the tack timeout that we saw earlier or whether that's from, you know, Bianche, for example, as the IGL trying to make that adjustment on the fly. God, Lurking hasn't been able to get it done with his utility the whole map. But
yeah,
finally, rifle out.
How many times do you see the controller player just clearing backside?
Yeah, business done.
Like I said, I mean, taking matters into his own hands.
Now imagine the comeback.
I'm imagining.
I'm still struggling, to be honest with you.
I'm engaging my brain.
I think Trace would have to put together at least some better post-plant situations. So, you know, get in, get plant down, get out, still be able to sync some post plants, maybe get some post plant flanks going, aggressive on-site positions, some extra layer for me to believe that they can take the majority of these next 4. DRX, are they going for an aggressive play?
So maybe off the back of Buzz, at least the hold over towards B with the flood defending getting clocked. They want to go for something aggressive. Drone is used pretty early on the mark here for DRX, but to get some of that information, they know where Kai is playing with the operator.
Obviously here, DRX trying to push Trace into this trap on B.
Yeah.
Here.
Buzz has not popped the Blade Storm as far as I'm aware. So he's not going to be able to go for like the updraft play. Mako taking some chip.
He's right in the middle of the box. There's a flash play up and over with the dash as well. Buzz getting ahead of himself, and he realizes it's still Kai. He's watching for the exit, and there's the punish in sight. Well dissected by Trace.
Good awareness of that stuff as well. The spam onto the box, clearly aware.
It's given that player advantage up over towards him once more.
Here.
It's all about not letting it slip.
Dangerous.
Could say the same for Foxy9. You don't want to be slipping there. Hunter's Fury. This should be pushing out through the back of the side. No way. The bullets barely survived and saved in the end of the day by Mako. In through the back here with 30 seconds left. The Trace still want to make a play for this one. There's a full swarm of players here. Defending rotations from DRX. They shore it all up over towards B, and it leaves it into that 2v2, but time is no longer on the side of Trace here. They've got to try and make the play forwards for it. Bane. Miraculous. He's working magic across the site. Fung Fung sees the operator, feels like saving it, but no, just backs away with a rifle.
He's going for the save in the 1v2. I mean, if that doesn't give you a glimpse as to the mentality of Trace, I suppose the rest of the match, you could figure it out for yourself.
Yeah.
And that's another round where Trace get the opening kill. And this one, not a scrappy affair where things get traded out immediately. They just have a solid 5v4 here to try to convert on. And their spacing isn't great as they get into side. The time ends up ticking down. All of DRX are on B. Everybody. Even Flashback's full rotated away from his Cypher setup on A. Confident that Trace are not throwing anything weird into the mix. And I'm afraid it's looking just as dominant as Lotus was.
They're going all in. Into the trips too as well, up and over the top. That's a beautiful flash. Kai is played in perfectly with that. And they have dismissed Buzz as easily as that inside the cage. A bit of spam will deal enough damage. Straight bullet to the cranium, a flashback. Now this flood defense play from DRX still as the smoke does dissipate. Bane trying to hold his ground, stand it down up towards heaven. Still Kai, he's on one. Dashes here, you can feel it in power, but doesn't account for Foxy9 there, so there will be no ace. But still, with the damage done, Trace have got to be happy with that.
A much better attack. Buzz playing in a very different position as well, trying to mix things up. Now he got caught by that flash, up and over. That made all the difference. Round 10 though, and Trace only putting their second on the board. And Buzz is still going to have that operator. They've gone to many lengths to protect them.
Oh, they certainly have.
They've thrown themselves off cliffs to make sure.
What I really should do as well is thank the EVS team for that, I think.
Absolutely.
Listen, I don't know if they're here, but I do owe them a drink of their choosing. Because, yeah, pulling that was something special, to be honest. But you're right. And it's going to take, I think, the following up, the next 2 rounds that are left in his half to even make it, I think, a possibility for Trace to make it doable, because 8-4 at minimum, if you're getting pissed around and you know, moving forward.
And I know it was a very different composition that they brought out today, but Trace, historically, 20% win rate on their defense side on Abyss over the 2 games that they've played against FPX and EDG.
The map has just been a struggle for them.
But it does look like they're heavily favored to win this one. The economy, I was going to say massively favored for them, but you know, an AWP, a rifle, and a Blade Storm, to be honest with you, there's still a lot of danger that DRX can throw out here.
Stacking over towards B. Pulling players back over as well if they make the great retreat over towards A. It's a drone for a drone, and either of it's broken, so this essentially feels, I mean, now it definitely looks like DRX know exactly what's up. They're trying to fake presence over towards B with the drone.
Yeah, and that drone from Bianca has got absolutely nothing done. In fact, it's achieved the opposite of what he intended. It's given DRX the read instead of made them confused.
Updraft dash though, here from Kai. Trying to navigate away from most of these trips as well. I believe the knife connected. Mako's inside. One. Flashback still here. Updraft up and over. Blade Storm in hand. Not enough for Buzz to do too much more. Still Bane is there. Sheriff. Just the one before the trade. 1v2 that Foxy9 can play for. But the Operator is the weapon of choice. Maybe not by his choice, but he's got to work with it nevertheless.
He might want to save the Op for the final round. But even if he doesn't, this is going to be difficult. They already knew roughly where he was. Fanfan had that neural theft out.
How does he play it? This side is brutal to take. Alone. Doubled up. It's a bit of a high-low setup there by Trace. Enough to sail there through, at least out a third round. Add it to the tally. One more potentially makes it doable.
One more is all they'll have access to. I mean, they better hope that it makes it doable. They've squandered their chances at a better half thus far. Kai has been the only player really opening things up. Lorking had his chances and he did a great job. So I suppose I shouldn't count him out either. But Kai's aggressive entrying has actually worked to get them into sights. They're going to double up on the attack side here, despite the fact they're set up to go for something fast on B.
Yeah,
seems
a bit of a head
odd.
scratcher. Flash and dash play out through mid as well. Feng will survive. Uses the cage just to make sure he can back away there. Looking to reclaim some of that space up through mid. Now to no command.
No Blade Storm.
Emanates his way out. Trips. That is bizarre stuff that I'm seeing. Up and over through these are kill trips to try and at least potentially play off here, but DRX, they wanted to try and play in front of all of this. Bodies swinging out wide and still collecting and claiming all sorts of kills.
Look how annoying that smoke is.
You want to fight it?
Not much you can get through. Another one-way. Blooms and blossoms. How do you play your way past this one? Cosmic Divide is committed here. Lao King wants to try and get himself in, but that's an underhanded with a flash. Cleaning him up. Still walking straight into Kai. Does have the Blade Storm. Up and over now. Updraft dash. Nowhere near is his teammate playing with him, though. And as that fades away, that is great reactions. Kai once more has to be that playmaker. Steps up to that challenge. Wasn't quite a tap, now a full stick. Feng's been smoked off, though, and the angle not watched for. He's looking all the way up into the high ground still. Down to just Kai. Again to do it. Dodges the paranoia, but plenty of bullets. Raining down onto him, up and over. He's hoping and hunting for the head. Operating out in his hands. Maybe a chance to isolate one of these fights. Mako! What is going on, son? Dashing away, you cannot escape your fate. Bane tracks him down with perfection.
Kai did what he could there in the final moments, but it's still only going to be 3 for Trace. I thought Mako was about to throw himself off the map.
It looked like
there.
it, man. It looked like it, but still.
DRX maintain control, don't they?
Held him down, yeah.
Love the way that they've been playing this map in general. They only need 4 more to close things out.
That's looking like dominance, though. Another similar tale that's just weaved here by DRX. We're going to see if it continues into Abyss.
To reset, and even more difficult for those players down on stage to reset after what they've experienced so far today. Kai's going to have to go nuclear, I think, to be able to win this one.
Even more so. Very familiar position. Been watching Buzz perched up onto that ankle. All map long. Over the top, though. Lineups for days here from Foxy9. This is going to be tempting to disrupt any sort of hold. Flash, updraft dash in through the smokes as well, but a kill's collected on either side here with the Jets going down. And now barreling the way forwards. DRX just trying to take a bit of space in through the back of the site. They haven't actually disjointed some of these players. Hey, Bay Sheriff cannot get the job done there. Just one stray shot to the chest. Mako watching for the hop up.
That's a really important fight.
And then
there's
winning all of
another
them. Lao King.
Cover going out.
Second top performer. It's been heartbreak for him in terms of the rounds where he could have had that impact. Stopped in his tracks. Taking these fights, very individualistic, but yet Mako's there eventually to swing and collect up the kill alongside Flashback. That's 10 rounds now for DRX, a pistol round as well. And for Trace, what options do you have at this point? I mean, you've got to force, I think, really, but you're on the defense side, you don't have the plant money. It's not looking good.
No, I don't think they're going to be able to force just based on eco. They didn't even kill enough players. I think this is DRX. Long suspected after what we saw as the opening to Lotus, but I think this is where we're going to see DRX close things out fairly easily. barring a very unusual twist and turn in this match. And it is really confidence building, I think, for DRX and for DRX's fans to see them come out in their first game of the lower bracket.
It's a play cooked up by Trace. Trying to use the weaker weaponry and util maybe that they can find a few kills there through the main fight. But you're right. I mean, DRX, for the fans,
Need that back.
I'm not going to say expecting an outcome like this, I think, some sort of dominant performance, but they definitely needed it, I think, in terms of Pacific representation, the Korean representation too, at this event in Seoul.
The Korean fans here in person would be absolutely gutted and very unexpected to lose Gen G and DRX this early. It would have been unthinkable.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like it's going to occur. Trace go for a stack in the right place, but
exactly
doesn't catch too much.
Everybody accounted for. Up to 11 here for DRX. At least you get the rifles online if you are Trace. But yeah, the fans, they needed something. It's not just signs of life from DRX as well, though. This is just purely a clean sweep almost in terms of a win.
Yeah, it's dominant. And it's also two maps that they're really strong on and have showcased that they're really strong at this event. DRX's Lotus was kind of so-so before coming into Champs, but I think the addition of adding that chamber in certainly caught Fnatic off guard. That's a huge win to be able to get, and it's worked beautifully here as well. And Abyss has just been home territory for them.
Yeah, they're going to go for the B-hit simulator. Look at the util. Just sails up and over the head.
They're very practiced.
Yeah, Fung Fung makes a go of things, just peeking past it. Again, he's going to get traded. Trying to take the fight outside of Heaven. Foxy9 with his plant, and it's in quite a difficult spot as well to try and pick apart. If you're trying to play the retake now as Trace. Spammable box corner. You've got Buzz taking point as well. They're going to have to use util to try and clear him out. Knife against it, through the back wall. Tags onto him, so they know that Buzz is playing into this spot, but the drone's going to be used as well. Sees multiple players spamming away. Bullet's not landing, though, not through that box. One way in for the smoke, and the dart snaps it round to the behind. Buzz, though, eventually overwhelmed. The util is good, but still time starting to tick. This is where the problems start to stack. Trace, they need to try and hold these guns and hold them well. Fire in line, sticking it forwards. Now the defense needs to come online, but again, Bullet straight through the wall. And then Foxy9 even fooled. Flashback was wrapping it all the way there.
DRX do end up losing their weaponry towards the end of things here. But I mean, this round, it's looking like it could be exactly identical to Lotus. 13-3 is on the horizon. And the way that DRX dealt with that did end up just being textbook. And I think that word could be used to describe how the Korean squad has played all day.
They're going into it again. Listen.
Run it as a scrim at this point.
Exactly. Limit testing. They don't want to give away footage of how they play the rest of the map. They can't stop the B hits. Just keep running it. Flashes are connecting. Nade in through the back as well. Fung Fung, that's good. Stands it down still. Damage was done to him, so he was softened, weakened enough for the stray bullets of Bane to find him. In through the smoke as well. There's timings to be taken. Behind K and Kai, they are capitalizing. Mako drops him, crouch down, coverage, and fire over the shoulder still. Leaves Mako into that 1v2, and Hey Bay will deliver those death blows. Enough for Trace to survive another day.
Perhaps DRX are going to have to bring something different out heading into the round after this one. Going to be going into an eco for DRX. The amount of util dump that goes in onto that backside player is phenomenal. Fung Fung does a great job in that moment to be able to get a kill out of that. He's flashed up, runs into a fragment grenade, has to readjust very, very quickly. But all of these bright spots, they can't quite obscure the scoreline at the top. And we do often see eco rounds to close out these kind of situations.
We saw it on the last map.
Yeah. That time, though, there were stingers online. This time,
sure.
Gen G, DRX only coming into Sheriffs. That's
maybe wishful thinking on your part. Do you hope that Gen G was in playoff, Josh? It's not the case. Gotta lay your hopes on DRX's shoulders.
Would have been nice for the stories, but alas, I'm another broken Gen G fan that supports DRX now.
Smoke at the feet there for Buzz. Trying to obfuscate whether or not he's crossed that one, and does pull out an ult. I mean, Heibay's using an ult command. You can feel just how tested and pulled, I think, Trace are, that even against the weaker buy, they feel like they have to use ults.
Now going back into Kai. a full rotate while Trace stay anchored to A. The cam spots it out. This should start the defensive rotates coming through. And yet, it wasn't real.
What is happening here?
What is going on? The entire war chest is being unloaded, and in what direction? Where's that going, Bianca?
Listen, if there's
They
anything...
thought it was B.
Yeah, and it clears the way to absolutely nothing still. Now the indicator is on, but they've used so many ults into this round. It's already a win for DRX, even if they lose the round. Up and over with the dash. Attempt to play these players in Foxy9. Just the one before he's shut down. 12 to 5, but as we were saying, I mean, what is going on with the ults?
A bit panicked, and I think that's what's going to happen when you've only won 8 rounds to your opponent's 25. You know, when they're winning 3x more rounds than you are over the course of the entire match, you're going to get shook in these kind of situations and feel like you've got to use the ults to close them out. It seems like a decent protocol on a rifle round if that had been a B hit, but it was a cute fake into a re-hit called by Marco. It's created a massive ult advantage for this one. Though having said that,
oh,
hello, Kai, up and over.
Yeah, Flashback not dodging a dart either, so he was lit up. There was chances for Kai to rip the opposition's head off.
Here.
Cam up. This feels precarious. I mean, there's backup arriving potentially there with a deep knife as well.
They're leaving.
Yeah, Cam is cleared.
Kai?
Kai! Oh, Flashback's caught him.
Well, I mean, Kai's teammates just left him out to die. They marooned him on a desert island.
Oh, yeah. No SOS or smoke signal saving you there. No rough F online for Flashback, you can hear it. He's got it. Hat flung wide, gives him that information now. They know it's split, straight down the middle. 2 for 2, Loud King's position, out through the back of the side as well. Where's the supportive util? Flash is there, it's perfection again. The execute's clearly drilled well by DRX. Util up and over, Bianca, he's hoping he can spam and spray down! Oh my goodness, he's moving all over the place. The aim is going wild and so are the bullets.
He hit his jump button throughout the middle of that as well.
Oh boy. Trace, left to pick up the pieces, but only 2 left to do it now. This is it. Turning point in the map, in the series. DRX on a blinder. Form playing that significant factor. And they've got a chokehold onto this side into the post plant. Good luck getting through this. Good luck stepping over that barrier and that finish line. DRX, it's flawless once more to finish the map. And almost